Running a dental practice can feel like an uphill battle. You're working long hours, managing your team, handling patients, and let's face it, even putting out fires each day. It's exhausting, and worse, it can feel like no matter how much you do, your practice is still stuck at the same level. But here's the truth. The problem isn't how much you're doing, it's what you're doing. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to scale and grow your practice while avoiding burnout. The solution? Stop doing everything. Stop being the bottleneck in your practice. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to identify what's holding you back and how to fix it so your practice can run smoothly and grow without you doing everything. For those of you who are new here, I'm Dr. Paul Etchison. I'm the author of 2 best-selling books on dental practice management, host of the Dental Practice Heroes podcast, and owner of a thriving group practice in the south suburbs of Chicago. I have been exactly where you are, overworked, overwhelmed, and wondering if it's possible to run a successful practice and have a life at the same time. But I've learned that it doesn't have to be that way. My goal is to help you build a practice that works for you and not the other way around. Now, let me tell you a quick story about a day I'd like to forget. When I opened up my practice, I poured everything into it. My heart and soul. It was all I could think about. I couldn't sleep at night because I kept thinking about it. I wanted to do new things. I wanted to try new procedures. It was so much fun just being the boss of my own practice. But the thing is I started to get really stressed out. I was managing so many things. And even when I was home, I couldn't stop thinking about the practice. I was burning out. And I remember sharing frustrations with my friends. And they'd be like listening to it. I'd be telling them all the things that pissed me off about the practice. But then they'd say, dude, I would kill to have the problems you have. Have you ever heard this from your friends before? Yeah, those are great problems to have. I know, it doesn't help. But if you're a dentist and you're a dental practice owner, you can relate. Now, one day I was at my daughter's dance recital and I was sitting there and I looked down at my phone and I get a text from one of my hygienists and she says, hey, I know it's Friday. I just want to let you know that I need to talk to you on Monday about something important. Now, it's Friday. And if you're like me, there's no way you're going to make it all the way to Monday without thinking about it. So I started texting her back. What's going on? What's going on? Are you thinking about quitting? What's happening? And she's going back and she's saying, I'll talk to you on Monday. I can't talk to you on Monday because I can't stop thinking about it. I'm way too anxious. And then my wife looks at me and she says, why do you keep looking at your phone? We're supposed to be enjoying our daughter's dance recital. And that's when it hit me. I started thinking, why am I doing this? Why am I the person that seems to have to hold everything at the entire practice together? Why am I constantly thinking about it, and why can't I shut it off when I go home? Now, that day, I made it my mission to going forward that I was going to figure out a way to maintain my success at work, but not have to carry the weight of the practice on my shoulders. And believe it or not, I realized quickly that all of my issues were 100% entirely my fault, because I was the bottleneck. Now, here's why this matters so much. When you're the bottleneck, you're stuck doing low-value tasks. Let's think about this. If you want to make like $100 an hour or $200 an hour or even $500 an hour, what do you think you're going to get paid if all day long you're doing things that are $20 per hour tasks? Maybe it's even something a little bit more complicated. Maybe it's a $50 an hour task. The thing is, when you do low-value tasks, it keeps your practice small because it takes energy to grow. And if you're doing all these low-value things all day, along with seeing your patients, you're not going to have any energy left to grow your practice. You're going to be burnt out from all the other things. So if you're doing everything at your practice, eventually you're going to reach a point where either you burn out or you just stagnate and you're stuck. So you need to enlist your team and you have to get out of the way. Now, believe me, your team is more capable of taking care of nearly every single thing you do. You just have to show them how, and you have to trust them. Now, let's break down a systematic way to do this. First thing I want you to do, I want you to identify what you're holding on to. Take a hard look at what you do every single day. Are you maybe like scanning invoices? Are you paying the bills? Are you checking emails and responding to messages for the office? Are you doing your own books? Okay, every single thing you do. Maybe you're checking in lab cases. I want you to write it down for 2 weeks, no matter how small and how stupid it is. Like, are you opening your own mail? Okay, maybe. I'm talking about opening the envelopes. Is that something you do? Write it all down. Then, after you write all those things down, I need you to decide which ones you hate, which ones you love, and which ones maybe you're just kind of in the middle with. You don't hate or love it. But categorize every single one into one of those 3 categories. Either I hate it, I love it, or I'm neutral. Now, the next step is you're going to take the ones you hate. Okay, take those first, and you're going to figure out how to delegate and train your team on them. This might mean creating a training document or a video, or maybe just sitting down one-on-one and showing somebody how to do something. This also might mean creating a protocol around it. Make it somebody else's responsibility. For example, do you have to check with your team to see if the lab cases are going to be in for your patients that are coming up? Do you say, hey, did we get that lab case? Is this something that you have to waste mental energy on? It shouldn't be. You can delegate this to your team. You can make it someone else's responsibility. So after you have that list, I want you to pick one thing every single week and you're going to delegate it to somebody. You're going to look at that list every Sunday and you're going to commit that by the end of this week, if you have to do that task one more time, it will be the very last time you do it ever. All right. The last step is that after you do this, you delegate it to somebody, you show them how to do it. You have to audit the success and assess the results. Nothing is going to be perfect on the first try. You may need to help them do it. You might have to provide more training. And also, your team might forget about the responsibility. So you have to check in and make sure that it's getting done until you, in your heart, are confident that you can trust them to do it without you asking. Now, most importantly, offer your team grace. They're going to make mistakes. You know that they're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. Everybody learns from mistakes. It's all right. Do not shame them if they mess some things up. Let them learn from it and move forward. So you step back, you coach, you offer grace. That is the only way you can stop being the bottleneck. So to recap, in order to run a successful practice that's sustainable and profitable and good for your mental health, you have to stop being the bottleneck. You have to stop doing everything. So in order to do that, you have to decide what tasks that you're holding on to. You've got to make that list. You've got to write down which ones you like, which ones you hate, and which ones you don't really care either way. And then you got to take those ones you hate first and choose how to create systems, protocols, and train those certain team members on them. And lastly, it is not set it and forget it. You've got to audit the effectiveness. You've got to make sure the tasks are being completed to your standard as the owner. So when you stop being that bottleneck, your practice, it's going to start scaling and growing without burning you out, because now you're going to have that time and energy to focus on what really matters, both in your practice and in your personal life. Now, if you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video. And if you're ready to take your practice to the next level, please visit my website for more free resources and coaching options. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.